right, Dr. Kevin, who's not 119 years old, is here with Wellness Wednesday. So what's going on?
Well, I wanted to continue to discuss diabetes with everyone today because there's still a lot of confusion out there about diabetes and what you can do about it. And, almost every professional agrees that you can affect diabetes in a very positive way if you get to some of the underlying problems that are causing it. And anytime we're dealing with chronic type conditions like diabetes and thyroid and others, we want to get as far upstream as possible so that we can affect the body in a very positive way. What I mean by that is when I say get as far as upstream as possible, I mean get to the underlying cause and not treat the end symptom, not treat the very end of what's going on. And for instance, just treating the blood sugar with medication, that's not very far upstream. That doesn't really get to the underlying cause at all. There's a whole host of things that go wrong before you see the blood sugar change. Mm-hmm. So
that's like putting a Band-Aid on a patch.
It really is. We're back to treating symptoms again and not doing anything for the underlying problem. And so it's almost like if your house is burning down and you say, I'm just going to manage this fire so that it burns down slowly. That's not ever really fixing the body.
That's a good analogy.
It's a great analogy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks. So you're not really getting to solve anything. All you're doing is just managing your body's decline with a chronic disease, and we can do much better than that. So the first thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to just clear up some of the confusion on the different types of diabetes. Now, the first one is type 1. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease. That means that your immune system has mistakenly decided that your pancreas cells that make insulin are not you and have went and attacked and killed those cells. So your body's own immune system have decided that you are not you, and it goes and kills those cells that make insulin. So that means that we don't have enough insulin in the body. Now, first of all, this problem with the immune system, autoimmune diseases have become rampant in the United States. This is something people don't realize, how our bodies are actually turning on themselves at a very alarming rate now. And what in the world would make the body decide that you are not you and go kill your cells that make, that make insulin?
It's kind of funny when to hear somebody say, what makes your body turn on you?
Yeah, it's the craziest. And so these are rampant. Our bodies are turning against ourselves, and autoimmune diseases are skyrocketing. So this is a problem. Somebody needs to look at this.
Wow.
And so, but the bottom line with type 1 is that it's an immune system problem. It's not a blood sugar problem. It's not even an insulin problem. It's a problem with your immune system. So if you're treating type 1 diabetes and you're not at least looking at the person's immune system to see why this is going on, you're really missing the boat. So sure, you could put an insulin pump in them, but let's try to find out why their body is attacking itself. Because here's the thing with autoimmune, typically if the body's immune system is that hypersensitive, you're going to get problems in other areas. The body's going to be chronically inflamed, and you're going to end up with other problems down the road somewhere if you don't do something about that. Now, insulin's job in the first place is what insulin does in your body, and most people don't even realize this, but insulin's job is to take sugar from your bloodstream and put it inside the cell so it can be used for energy. So it's almost like your cell wall has a little locked door on it, and insulin has the key. And it unlocks the door, opens it, puts the sugar inside the cell, and closes it and relocks it. And your cells have to have sugar inside them for energy so that they can perform whatever function they're supposed to be performing. And so insulin's job is to do that. It opens the cell wall, puts the sugar inside there, closes it, and locks it. And so without insulin, you don't get the sugar inside the cell for use, and that's where all the problems from diabetes that are associated with it come from. Now, this is something that you can get diabetic amputations. It's the leading cause of blindness. You have a 150% higher rate of Alzheimer's. So this is not just, hey, I'm managing my blood sugar, everything's fine, my numbers look good. And that's the mistake that people get into. They think
recently Mary Tyler Moore was just about blind at the time of her death.
Right.
And they say her cardiac arrest was probably due from diabetes.
Yeah. Of course, I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. So managing the decline, managing your house being on fire is not the solution. let's figure out the solutions and try to get as far upstream to fix some of these things as we possibly can. So when we get back from break, we're going to go through type 2 diabetes. It's a totally different animal. It's actually the exact opposite of type 1. And I'm going to give you some secrets to type 2 diabetes that may really help you. So stay tuned. In type 2 diabetes, there's enough insulin there. In fact, there's too much insulin. But it's just that it doesn't work anymore. So the key that insulin uses to open the door and put the sugar inside the cell doesn't work. It's like if the locks were changed. And so what happens then is the cells have become insulin resistant, meaning you have enough insulin, it just doesn't work anymore. So what happens when you have all this sugar floating around in your body, your body has to do something with it, so it stores it as fat. And that's why diabetes is so associated with weight gain and obesity. Because when you have all this extra sugar floating around, your body has to do something with it, and it just decides to store it for later. So when it comes to type 2 diabetes, it's all about finding out why someone's body has become resistant to their insulin versus just managing their blood sugar numbers. And so that's a very bleak future for patients, just to manage their blood sugar numbers for life. When blood sugar isn't even the most important factor. Insulin levels are a much more important number to see. And that's something we don't ever even check. People check their blood sugar, but they don't ever check their insulin levels. And I've always thought that was so strange. Like, insulin is the number one thing you want to know with a diabetic, but they don't ever even look at that. All they check are their blood sugar levels.
Is that a blood test? Is it available?
Yeah, sure it is. It's very simple. We do it for in our office. And so the thing about checking your blood sugar is people are under the false impression that they're healthy because they're managing their blood sugar numbers into this box that they've considered normal. Mm-hmm. That is not healthy. And, you can take somebody, you can talk to a patient that has diabetes and you'll ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate your health? And they'll say, well, I'm like an 7 or an 8. You're like, wait, but you have diabetes. Yeah, but my numbers are good. I'm keeping them in this box. Mm-hmm. And so we've sort of made patients under the impression that it's okay as long as your blood sugar numbers are in this box. But the whole time, their insulin levels might be through the roof. Because what most medications do is they just whip the pancreas to make more insulin. And so what that does is the key doesn't work. So it's like kicking the door down and putting the sugar inside the cell anyway. So diabetes is an insulin problem, not a blood sugar problem. And so we have to rethink this a little bit. Now, there's also another hormone called leptin that nobody's ever even heard of. Leptin is the hormone that controls insulin production, weight management, and fat storage. So we need to look at leptin too to see what leptin is doing. So you can see that just managing the decline of a chronic disease is a very, very bleak future. We can do much, much better than that. And so,
hey, a question just came in for you. Feel like answering it?
Sure.
How do you check insulin levels at home?
I don't think there's a test to do that. I think that you would want to test that through the blood. I would have to check and see if there's a home test for insulin. I know we can do it through a blood test, but I'm not sure if there's a home test for that.
Okay.
I don't think there is. I think that's something we have to draw blood and have that checked. But what we can do is we can look at that over, we can check it and 3 months later recheck it to see if we're affecting it. And then 3 months later we check it again. And so that is something that we can check to be able to see. But I don't think there's a home test in order to be able to check that. But I'll double check that and make sure before the program tomorrow night. And if it is, I'll let them know. So if you want to hear more about the current thinking on diabetes, either type 1 or type 2, and you want to hear about new solutions for this and find out ways that we can get further upstream from what you're doing right now and affect your body and your health in a positive way, then I'm doing a free community program on diabetes. It's called the 4 Secrets to Beating Diabetes. It's going to be tomorrow night at the Hilton Garden Inn. It's going to be at 7 o'clock. And I think we have a few seats left. As far as at the close of business yesterday we did. I'm not sure if we had more people call this morning, so you'll want to call right away. But it's 837-7174 in the Lafayette region. And if you want to go to the New Iberia region, it's 367-2567, and you can get both numbers on Facebook at the Bryant Wellness Institutes. But in Lafayette, that's 837-7174, and in the New Iberia area, it's 367-2567. 2567. Dr. Fontenot is going to be hosting the program over there. He's real smart too. He's the one that figures all this out. I'm just the one that gets to talk about it.
He's real smart. He's real smart. He's real smart. He's pretty too.
I'm the one that gets to just talk about it. So if you want to go to New Iberia, give them a call over there. It's the exact same program. Either one you want to go to, it's going to be you will leave there with the most knowledge and the most ways that you can actually positively affect your future than you've ever had since you've been diagnosed with diabetes. And so you definitely want to call and reserve your seat and come to this one. It's going to fill up quick, but this is going to be one of those life-changing programs for people.
It ought to be full up because I just read that Louisiana is ranked number 5 in rates of diabetes.
Yes.
In the whole country.
And we're number 1 in obesity in the country.
Yes, that's a fact.
Number 1 in obesity. So, guys, come on, let's do something about this. It's time. All right. It's time to do more than just manage your house burning down.
It's a matter of how long you want to live.
Right.
Period.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, that's a fact. How long do you want to be here?
Right. And so I hope everybody comes. It's going to be fantastic. I'm looking so forward to it. I've got some great information for the folks there tomorrow night. So it's going to be at 7 tomorrow night.
Okay. Bryant Wellness Institute on Facebook.
On Facebook, the Bryant
Dr.
Wellness
Kevin,
Institute.
Wellness Wednesday.